The Orlando sun had barely risen when the first rays of light revealed a chilling scene in the parking lot of the Huntington on the Green apartment complex. A black Chevrolet Malibu sat abandoned, its pristine exterior masking the sinister story it held within. This was no ordinary vehicle. It belonged to Jennifer Kesse, a vibrant 24-year-old financial analyst who had seemingly vanished into thin air. As the morning progressed, a sense of unease settled over the complex like a suffocating blanket. Jennifer's absence from work, her unanswered phone, and the eerie presence of her car painted a picture that no one wanted to acknowledge. Something was terribly wrong. Detective Amelia Rourke arrived at the scene, her sharp eyes scanning the area with a mixture of determination and trepidation. She had seen her fair share of missing persons cases, but something about this one sent a chill down her spine. As she approached the Malibu, she noticed the first peculiarity. Despite being left in a public area, the car was immaculate, devoid of any obvious signs of struggle or foul play. It was as if Jennifer had simply stepped out of her life, leaving behind a perfectly preserved moment frozen in time. Rourke's team descended on the vehicle, their practiced movements belying the gravity of the situation. As they dusted for prints, a disturbing pattern emerged, or rather, the lack of one. The car was devoid of fingerprints, as if it had been meticulously wiped clean. This level of forensic awareness sent alarm bells ringing in Rourke's mind. They weren't dealing with an amateur. As the investigation unfolded, Jennifer's life began to take shape before them. A promising career, a loving family, and a bright future that now hung in the balance. But beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect life, shadows lurked, waiting to be uncovered. The first thread to unravel came from Jennifer's workplace. A coworker, visibly shaken, approached Detective Rourke with information that would change the course of the investigation. Jennifer mentioned feeling uneasy lately. The coworker whispered, eyes darting nervously. She said she felt like she was being watched. This revelation cast a sinister shadow over the case. Had Jennifer's fears been justified? Was her disappearance the culmination of a calculated stalking campaign? As Rourke delved deeper, she uncovered a web of complexities surrounding Jennifer's life. The young woman had recently returned from a Caribbean vacation with her boyfriend, a trip that should have been filled with sun and laughter. But as Rourke interviewed the boyfriend, she sensed an undercurrent of tension. Something had happened on that trip, something that had cast a pall over their relationship. The boyfriend's alibi was solid, but his demeanor raised questions. Was he hiding something to protect Jennifer, or to protect himself? As the days turned into weeks, the investigation took a turn that no one had anticipated. Security footage from a nearby building captured a figure dropping off Jennifer's car at the complex where it was found. The grainy video showed a person of indeterminate gender, their features obscured by a cap and loose-fitting clothes. This phantom figure became the focal point of the investigation, a tantalizing clue that seemed to raise more questions than it answered. Who was this person? Why had they taken such care to conceal their identity? And most importantly, what had they done with Jennifer? As Rourke pored over the footage, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were dealing with someone who had planned this meticulously. The precision with which the car had been cleaned, the careful concealment of the perpetrator's identity. It all pointed to a level of premeditation that was deeply unsettling. Meanwhile, the community rallied around Jennifer's family. Posters bearing her smiling face appeared on every street corner, a stark reminder of the vibrant young woman who had vanished without a trace. As public interest in the case grew, so did the pressure on Rourke and her team to find answers. But with each passing day, the trail grew colder, and the chances of finding Jennifer alive dimmed. It was during this time of mounting frustration that a new lead emerged, one that would take the investigation in a direction no one had anticipated. A tip came in about suspicious activity at a construction site near Jennifer's apartment complex. Workers at the site, mostly undocumented immigrants, were reluctant to speak, but one finally came forward with information that sent chills down Rourke's spine. He spoke of a foreman, a man named Victor Santora, who had been acting strangely in the days surrounding Jennifer's disappearance. The worker described Santora as a man with a volatile temper and a penchant for making unwanted advances towards women in the area. As Rourke dug into Santora's background, a disturbing picture began to emerge. He had a history of stalking complaints, though none had resulted in convictions. More alarmingly, he had worked on several projects in the vicinity of Jennifer's apartment. Could this be the watcher that had made Jennifer feel so uneasy in the days leading up to her disappearance? As Rourke and her team began to surveil Santora, they noticed oddities in his behavior. He seemed hyper-aware of his surroundings, often taking circuitous routes to and from work, as if checking for tails. His apartment, when they finally gained access to it, was a study in contradictions. On the surface, it was meticulously organized, but hidden compartments revealed a cache of surveillance equipment and notebooks filled with cryptic writings. One notebook, in particular, caught Rourke's attention. It contained detailed observations of several women's daily routines, including Jennifer's. The level of detail was chilling. Work schedules, gym visits, even favorite coffee orders were meticulously recorded. But just as the net seemed to be closing around Santora, the case took another unexpected turn. A second woman disappeared under similar circumstances in a neighboring county. The parallels were undeniable: another young professional, another cleanly abandoned car, another phantom figure caught on camera. But this time, Santora had an ironclad alibi. He had been in police custody for questioning about Jennifer's case when the second abduction occurred. This revelation threw the investigation into chaos. Had they been wrong about Santora? Was there a copycat at work? Or was something even more sinister at play? As Rourke grappled with these questions, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something crucial. The pieces were there, but they weren't fitting together in a way that made sense. It was during a late-night review of the case files that Rourke noticed something that had been overlooked. In the background of one of the photos taken at Jennifer's apartment complex, a familiar face could be seen: Victor Santora. But he wasn't alone. Standing next to him, partially obscured but unmistakable, was the figure from the security footage. The realization hit Rourke like a thunderbolt. They weren't dealing with a lone predator, but a team. Santora's meticulous planning and the phantom figure's ability to move undetected suddenly made sense in this new, terrifying context. As the investigation shifted to uncover the identity of Santora's accomplice, a race against time began. With 2 women missing and the possibility of more victims, the pressure to solve the case reached a fever pitch. Rourke's team combed through Santora's past, looking for anyone who might fit the profile of his partner in crime. It was a former cellmate who finally provided the crucial link, a name that sent shockwaves through the investigation. The accomplice was revealed to be Santora's estranged sister, a woman with a troubled past and a talent for blending into the background. This revelation painted a disturbing picture of siblings united by a shared darkness, working in tandem to satisfy their twisted desires. As the net closed around the duo, Rourke couldn't help but wonder about the fate of Jennifer and the other missing woman. Were they still alive, held captive somewhere? Or had the siblings' cruel game already claimed their lives? The final confrontation came on a rainy night at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. As Rourke and her team closed in, the siblings' carefully constructed world began to crumble. In the ensuing chaos, shots were fired, and the warehouse went up in flames. When the smoke cleared, Santora was in custody, but his sister had vanished once again, leaving behind more questions than answers. In the aftermath, as Santora faced justice, the fate of Jennifer Kesse remained a haunting mystery. Despite the breakthrough in the case, her whereabouts were still unknown, her story unfinished. For Detective Rourke, the case would never truly be closed until Jennifer was found. The Jennifer Kesse case had exposed the dark underbelly of a seemingly peaceful community, reminding everyone that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. As the city tried to heal, Jennifer's smiling face continued to look out from missing person posters, a poignant reminder of a life interrupted and a mystery still unsolved. The case would go on to become one of the most perplexing and haunting in Florida's history, a testament to the complexities of human nature and the enduring power of hope in the face of tragedy.